Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Modern Day Unicorns. Today, I have a gentleman who I literally just started speaking to like 3 minutes ago. His name is Michael, and I want to introduce you all to him because he is making some amazing content. And so it is a privilege for us to have him on the podcast and find out more about what he's doing and what he's about. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so as you said, we just started speaking a matter of minutes ago, and I'm very honored to be on this podcast. I've actually heard about it a couple days ago when you sent me the invitation and kind of checked out some more of your other guests, and was very honored to have received the invitation after seeing the depth and the types of subjects you guys dive into, the experiences of some of your guests I could totally relate to. So very, very pumped to be able to speak today with you guys.
Awesome. So please tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you're currently doing.
So I'm currently located in Las Vegas, and a lot of people get the idea that Las Vegas is just like the very showy, high energy kind of city. You know, you go there to just have a good time, forget a bad time, those kind of things. I look at it as an opportunity for creators and a lot of business people to network and collaborate to just do their own ideas or do their own kind of thing, express themselves. And a lot of them are starting to learn to use social media as that expression platform. So for me, I help those business owners, I help those creators to step out of their box, to really understand what it is that they're trying to communicate with their audiences. And if they don't have an idea, then I sit down with them and we figure out who they are. What message do you have to portray? So you can kind of call me a coach. Some people say it's consulting. I like to look at it as coaching because for me, I'm helping you to see the potential of yourself that you already have. And that's the biggest problem that a lot of people have, is that they don't know who they are or what they're trying to accomplish. They just know that they need to use social media to do something to create awareness for their business, their skill set, their service, or their products that they're trying to sell.
Okay, because it's very true indeed, right? A lot of people just don't know what's going on and need direction, especially when it comes to everybody encouraging them to be on social media. So that's great. But let's take it back a little bit, right? So I know this is a newer career and space for me, but what have you been doing, or what bring us to this point? What were you doing prior to being a social media coach?
All right. So let's go back a couple years then to probably when I was about 10 years old. My dad, he had this family camera and he kind of put it in my hands one day and said, "Hey, just go ahead and get some shots of the family being here." They were visiting from our homeland, Jamaica, and we were all living in California at the time. And I just looked at this complex kind of device and didn't know what to do with it. Back then, cameras were literally the size of my body as a 10-year-old. And I lifted that thing up and I just pointed it at people and got expressions, got laughter, got people expressing love to each other with hugs and just the music of our Jamaican music in the background and stuff. And I just kind of fell in love with the experience of holding something like that, a camera that could portray and capture a moment that people will look back at and just feel very touched by. It gave them an experience, whether they were there for that experience in the moment of being shot on camera, or they were just watching it for the first time because it was being shared by a fellow family member that was there. I really fell in love with the idea of creating videos after that experience. And growing up, I started fiddling around with Legos and creating stop motion animation, kind of like drawing cartoons and stuff. But I was using Legos and taking pictures on my computer using PowerPoint, one of those old softwares back then that people use for presentations for corporate events. And I fiddled around with that during the summer, I would say, of my sixth grade year, and spent my entire summer making a 5-minute stop motion animation video using Legos. And I called it Brick Bond, of all things. I noticed that a lot of my friends and classmates, when I showed that video to them the next school year, they really were entertained and just taken aback and just fully engaged in that. And they were so impressed with the fact that I was able to create something like that and that it was actually decent, that they actually enjoyed it. From that on, I really fell into love with creating videos that would express my own creativity, my own messages to my friends, my family, and then soon the church that I used to go to. And the high schools that I used to attend were asking for different types of videos to help with their services or their events. And I really started falling in love with the process of working with other people on something that I myself enjoyed doing by myself, and then working with small teams and creating solutions to problems, but telling it through the lens so that people could understand that from not just our school or our church, but across the board or across the state, to solve problems and to help others and to bring solutions. So it was like a journey, honestly, of developing this skill of being a storyteller, but using a camera. And over time, those devices changed, right? So we didn't have cell phones back when I was in high school. And when they started coming out with these flat screen cell phones, we just had those flip phones, if anyone even identifies what those are anymore. But we had these flip phones that all you could do was call and text and maybe play one game called Snake on. And when they started coming up with these different phones and you could capture pictures and capture videos, it was so intriguing to see how people were expressing themselves, just showing people, hey, I went here, hey, I did this, hey, I did all these kind of cool things, and it was really cool. But you couldn't share that with anyone who wasn't with you. So social media popped up and I was like, man, what is this thing? Facebook, right? Just got into college and Facebook and YouTube popped up, and you were able to post things online about your own life, and people would actually comment and like it, and your friends could see it whether they were there next to you or not. And it was really cool because now I could share all these videos and these ideas that I had. I was able to post on YouTube, and I was living in Ohio at the time. We moved from California because my dad's a military. He was in the military, the Air Force. So we moved around a lot as a family, but we settled in Ohio for a long time, and I was able to go to college. And during that time, I started my YouTube channel. Okay. So I started making these videos called Michael Loses a Bet. And you could probably still find these if you Google them on YouTube right now. I was making a Facebook group where if I got this many people to join the group, like 1,000 people, I would do this bet. And one of my first bets was wear promise to my classes in college. And I think I hit like 5,000, no, 1,500 people in my group at that time. And I did a next one, which was a little bit more dangerous of a bet, was standing in front of a firing squad of people who have paintballs. Okay. So a whole about 15 people with paintball guns lined up, just no protection besides a mask and some other maybe body protection stuff, but very light fabric clothing. And I had to get about, I think, over 5,000 people to join my Facebook group to do this. So it was a process. Like I literally was doing this stuff out of fun. I was creating videos and just expressing myself. And the next thing you know, this thing started taking off when it comes to subscribers on my YouTube channel. Because back then, in 2006, I believe, nobody was really doing the whole viral thing. Nobody knew what viral videos were. Memes didn't exist and all this stuff. So subscribers was such a new thing that when I hit about 1,400 subscribers back in 2006, it was unheard of, at least in my area. So I would be walking around my area and people would stop and say, hey, are you that guy who does those videos and all that kind of stuff? And it was such a weird thing being kind of a local celebrity. Nowadays people have millions upon millions of subscribers. But back then it was just a taste of what was to come. And I really started to see the power of creating content and creating videos and realizing that what you put out there really does reach people and can affect people. So I started diving deeper into really what my message was and what is it that I'm trying to portray. And I started kind of reserving myself a little bit back then, kind of stepping back. I would create content, but I wouldn't post anything because I was afraid that it wouldn't be good enough, or it would send the wrong message, or I want to make sure I get it right. The procrastination started setting in. So to kind of tie it all in, the whole thing about creation started out as fun for me. It started out as a way for me to express myself and to just share that experience with others. Then I realized the power of being able to create content, and how you need to develop a responsibility of who you're speaking with and how you're speaking to the world, so that people can really understand where you're coming from, and that you're not just painting a picture just to paint a picture, but you're painting a picture to say something to someone. And hopefully that's a positive message that enriches them.
I love it. I love it. That's an amazing journey that you started off with content so early before it became like an official thing. And I think a lot of times people
Mm-hmm.
don't have that history with when it comes to social media and YouTube and things of that nature. So I'd like to ask you what the dynamic is between that 2006 version of content versus the 2022 version, being that you've been on the broad spectrum of creating these things, and now you have a sense of responsibility as to how and what you generate to encourage people. So what has that switch kind of like been like for you?
It was a gradual switch because honestly, social media has been changing every single month for the last few years, and people are still trying to figure out what it's even becoming. And back then, no one knew what the potential of the internet really was. I think Amazon even was just getting started. Elon Musk wasn't really on the scene yet. He was still doing his PayPal thing before he even started Tesla. People really were still attached to television and the news for all their information. So social media was more of a gimmick. It wasn't really a thing where people were making money online. They didn't see the potential of that yet. And I think once advertising started stepping into the spectrum of being in content, being able to advertise on top of people's creative works and pieces, photos, whatever you call it, whatever it is that you produce as a creator or even a business now, people really weren't seeing that yet until money started really pouring into those platforms. Netflix even started coming up onto the scene, and DVD stores started disappearing off the side of blocks. People started really realizing that there's something to this whole content thing. By then, a lot of these people probably still didn't have an account. They still didn't think it was possible for them to do anything, make or monetize online. And at that time, I was still kind of understanding, what it is that's making certain people to have hundreds or thousands of followers, and me myself having a couple thousand, and just posting just things I thought were cool and creating my own experiences for myself, and then developing a little, maybe not really a brand, but at least a message that I felt clear about and wanted to get out. And that's when I started seeing the connection between businesses and how you can actually leverage business on social media, but not just to get a few dollars here and there, but to actually network with people, to create opportunities, to find opportunities. There's so many different ways you can use social media to either be an entertainment hub for people, or to be an educational value source for people, to be that place where people can get their information. If it's just to communicate that, there's different ways you can develop these types of content on these platforms. And I really wanted to dive into making people aware of that. So at that time, before things really started diving into the advertising space, in the today space, I should say, the 2020s, I was in the Air Force myself. I joined the Air Force around 2014 as a video broadcast journalist. And I had to make that choice because financially I needed a foundation to just secure myself in life, because I was such a creative. I was such a rebel growing up, because I had very militant style growing up with my family and my dad, that I just wanted to be free. I wanted to express. And I came to the realization that I can't make money and survive with that mindset. I couldn't just be a YouTuber, and I wasn't even a profitable YouTuber. I was just a creator. I wasn't even understanding the monetization yet. So the military gave me a backbone it really locked me into a mindset of understanding what it takes to manage your projects, your ideas, your plans, yourself, your time, and how to build teams and duplicate those processes onto others in your team so that effectively you can duplicate your time, you can speed up a process of a project, and you can do so much more exponentially because you have so many people working together. So I was able to leverage all those skills from the military and then tie that into my ideas with content and really create and dig deep into my process of a creator. Like, why am I doing this? Who am I talking to? And what's the importance of why I need to do these things and help them out so that they, as a creator or a business, can also develop the same things along those paths. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just watching and trying and picking up the results of what I've been putting together, along that path. And by the time we get to this point right now, it's all starting to make sense. Steve Jobs said, you can never see the dots and how they align moving forward, but you can connect them when you look backwards. And now I'm seeing that all this stuff that I've been trying, all these different things that were just coming out and new at the time, and I've had this experience, I can really help people in this world who are stepping into it for the first time as a content creator or a business owner who needs to create more awareness for their service and products. So it's been amazing because just like how we met, I've been meeting other people and they've been really just very thankful for the experiences and the skills and the tricks and the tips that I can share with them to kind of help them speed up their own learning process in this world. So to me, it's been great.
I think it's amazing that you're able to leverage and harness the opportunity within the military to see how you could run your business as a civilian. I'm assuming you're a civilian now, right? Are you out?
I'm a civilian now, yeah.
Okay,
Got
great.
out 2018.
Oh, well, thank you for your service in that. One of the posts
Absolutely.
that you posted, I noticed that you mentioned being in the room, something that you had
Mm.
participated in and being in the room. I'd love you to elaborate on that a little bit more, because I've also had some opportunities as of late to just be in the room. And so, could you tell our audience kind of like the experiences that you've had and why this is so important to you?
So if you are a type of person who has people that you look up to, you have a reason why you look up to these people, whether they have the mindset you want, whether they have the practices that you wish that you could practice, whether it's like a sporting activity or even just a business. You wish you had this level of business. How do you digest their experiences? How do you digest their knowledge? You can either follow them on social media, you can either read their books if they have any informational products out there. But what's better than just being in proximity to them, being around them? And a lot of people don't understand that being in proximity to types of people can really affect you, whether good or bad. That's why environments do matter. That's why your close five people, your best friends, your family, all these interactions that you have day in, day out, that they all matter and they affect you. Now imagine being around top level business owners, top level entrepreneurs, people who are changing and affecting this world. Not just one person, but many. Being around these types of people are going to change your mindset. They're going to change your posture. You walk into a room with these types of people and you can feel the energy, you can feel the weight of the air from their conversations, the types of things that they talk about, the level of problems that they have compared to the little situations and scuffles that are going on in your mind about he said, she said, and all these things that you just walked out of. Now, that's a completely different level. And in my experience, when I got out of the Air Force, I joined the local um, IATSE group, which is it's a film stagehand production team. Of It's a union where a lot of people who do like grip and lighting and videography and stage design, this is a union where we come together and we get hired out to do setups and to actually run these shows, conventions, and big events, by big names like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, um, Grant Cardone, and even actors and actresses that sing here locally at the Strip. So I got into this position and was working as a camera operator. So a lot of these events would occur, and I was able to operate the camera on these events, being able to be around these people backstage, being able to be a fly on the wall in these conversations and really hear what going on behind the scenes before it even hits the market, being able to hack life is the way that I looked at it. Being a camera person, being any type of stagehand position where you're able to be just in all black and just disappear into the darkness of behind the scenes and behind the stage and just listen, you know um I came in with a different mindset than most of stagehand workers because they come in to get their job, their paycheck, and they probably do appreciate being around these types of people. But I don't think they really understood the opportunity that these conversations that they hear and the types of topics that they're talking about. I don't think they were on the same wavelength as I was because I was already attracted to these types of spaces and entrepreneurship types of topics. So for me, this was the ultimate gift to be able to walk into a room that people were paying tens of thousands of dollars to be in. And I was able to just walk up right next to these people with a camera 5 feet away and really get personal in the fact of listening to what they have to say, how they're saying it, their processes before walking out on stage, the side conversations with the other greats around them. So if you ever can find and leverage these types of opportunities, you got to think outside the box. You have to put yourself in situations by answering the question of where are these people at? What do they do? And what kind of jobs or problems are they having or jobs that they need fulfilled that you have the skill set that you can apply to. So these are things that I use leverage to further educate myself to get me to that space.
And see, I love that, right? I had a conversation not too long ago about the power of value exchange. So being able to
Mhm.
leverage those skills that you have to offer your services, to be in rooms where people pay, like you said, tens of thousands of dollars just for that information, and you're getting it for leveraging your time and the resources that you have is amazing. Could you give me an example, let's say, because once again, I'm assuming again. So you're coaching, so I'm assuming that you have some type of offer and things of that nature that you can give to people. Let's say somebody couldn't afford it with money. What type of thing would you look for as a value exchange for an individual who wanted to kind of work with you, but they just couldn't exchange monetary value?
Can you give me my time back? Do you have any skills that can give me my time back? You have to look at someone who has valuable time. What are the things that they're doing that you could possibly do more effectively? Or what kind of ideas that they're probably struggling with that they probably don't know the solution for, or you may be able to create something faster or better for them. So for me, I saw that social media was becoming a huge problem for everyone, especially personal brands, because now they're expected to have full on 24-hour, show running on social media every single day so that people can contact them, see what they're doing, and it has to be entertaining and good quality. Who has the time for that when they're traveling around the world giving talks and helping groups and businesses or going to schools and talking to kids and all that stuff. They just want to express themselves. They just want to help the face-to-face types of people. Yes, they would love to be on camera and do all these things, but they don't understand the technicality of that. So that's where I fit in, and that's where I came into the picture to really help solve those types of problems. So for you, whoever you're watching, what kind of skills do you have that people are constantly asking your advice on? Take that to the next level and find people at that top tier, 1%, 2% level, and figure out what problems that they have that your skill sets can adapt or even upgrade their lifestyle to. So those are the things that you need to ask yourself. Those are the things and the opportunities that you need to look for.
I love it. I love it. That's a wonderful answer. Okay, so could you tell us more about the things that you do offer? What type of coaching do you offer for other people, and what type of transformation that you're giving folks? Because I feel like nowadays a lot of the world has transitioned to service-based businesses. A lot of entrepreneurs are out there,
Hmm.
right? And one of the things that I'm seeing that people are struggling with is what they actually do for other people. So I'd love to get your example of how you offer value and how you offer transformation to your clients.
Absolutely. So there's a couple different levels of people that I help. Now, a lot of my content helps the beginner. Okay. A lot of people who are either a content creator or just a creator in general, artsy type of person who wants to express themselves, or a business or business owner who sees that social media has become a dire need for them to create awareness for their product, service, or skill set. So I like to fill in the gaps, give them little tips and tricks with my content just to help them get the ideas and the starting point for where they need to take their content to the next level, whether it's their message, whether it's their branding and their style, whether it's just the consistency of their content. So I created an ebook for them that's free that you can actually get at www.contentroutine.com or just by clicking the link in my bio on Instagram. And the thing is, this content routine is a huge, huge step for people because they get in this rut or this downward spiral of having to create content every single day and trying to stay afloat on top of that. Well, there's a huge solution to this, and that's batching. And a lot of people don't know what batching is, but the bigger brands and some of the ones that are queued in know that you need to record more than one video at a time. You need to create more than one image post at a time. And that way you can free up your end of the week or maybe even the rest of your month if you really leverage this and do a lot at once to do other things that can really grow your business, like actually closing sales or selling products. But you still need to be on social media, and you still need to be active. So I've created solutions for people who are looking to get their time back, but also be genuine and authentic on social media, because you can create content and just put it out there. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's helping. It doesn't mean it's actually providing value or even a service to anyone. So I have kind of broken the the cap, I should say, off of what people are really engaging with and what they're really looking for. So being able to communicate that to someone who's new is very valuable, because instead of just trying a whole bunch of things and wasting more time, you're able to just jump right into your specific niche and help the people that you're going to mostly affect and bring value to.
And see, that's a great point as well. And I appreciate the fact that you're starting with beginners. I feel like a lot of creators nowadays are just going so high level with information and telling people what equipment to buy, and it's just like, hey, they don't even know what they're talking about, right? They don't know what
Yeah.
a step one is. So shout out to you. And if you're listening and you just want a step one, like, I definitely encourage you to follow him on today. And I'll have all the information in the show notes too. Now, as we kind of round this off, I appreciate everything that you shared thus far. And I also wanted to say, I'm happy that you said that you were in the military, because I needed you to explain all these muscles, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm
I
like,
get
you
that
you are one
sometimes.
you are one swole fly on the wall if that is the case. I'm just like, my goodness.
Yep. I guess I have to say, like, there's no real purpose to it besides I just like to discipline myself and just challenge myself, and it's just a way for me to gauge and also release stress. But yeah, being on stage with a camera in someone's face, I am quite large in front of most people. And that's actually a business card or a way to stick out for myself, because people do notice that first is your presence, right? And then when they do kind of come up to you, or you have an opportunity to open your mouth and listen or express something, that's the next point. So being able to have those two things, people not only can see my discipline, but they can also hear my character. And then that can open opportunities. So that's something I also share with people as well, is that you need to create space for your opportunity by working on yourself internally. So it's not just about the content you put out, but the persona and the person that you're building within as well. So there's a lot of different points to this, and I just enjoy the journey that I've been on, and just knowing that the things that I've learned and the things that I've accumulated through experience and just knowledge that I can really help, especially beginners, to utilize for themselves.
That's great. So, folks, you don't have to fit in, okay? Those unique points about you help raise questions that help you have conversations with individuals to be able to see more of your character. So that's a great point that you bring out. I'd like to get the tips from you. You've been dropping a lot of gems thus far anyway, but I'd like to get 3 concentrated tips for you that you have for our listeners today. Could you share that with us?
So I would say tip number one, if I was going to start today fresh and really create some content that I want to either express myself or connect with other people who are like minded, like myself, let's be honest with yourself. I would start with, how can I stay consistent? And what am I trying to say? Those are the first 2 things. Don't worry about branding. Don't worry about all the fancy stuff. Understand what your message is, understand who you are, and then find a way to post consistently about that message. As you start going, you'll probably get a couple interactions here and there on your own content. But if you want to get more engagements, I would say then this would be tip number 2, is you need to engage with other people. You want engagement, you need to get engagement, right? So find people who are in your niche or your topic. Whether you're a building specialist, like a designer, or even a realtor, or maybe you have like a car cleaning service or food service, any of those, find other people who do the same thing and just show some love and appreciation on them. If they're at a higher level than you, communicate with other people who are in that higher level comment section. Those are fans of those people. Those could possibly be your future customers, your future collaborators, your future friends. You never know. But those are the people, once they start seeing your content and seeing that you're showing up and engaging every day and posting every day, they're probably going to be curious and check you out. And that could grow your account. My final tip would be, now that you are kind of engaging and now you're being more consistent, now it's time to just start to really like make some money, right? You're on social media, you want to leverage the awareness and stuff. So how do you do that? Now you need to understand how to grow these relationships so that they turn into clients, they turn into prospects, that they turn into partners. But how do you do that? So you offer your services for free, and you probably do either a free exchange or you do an energy exchange, which is someone who has a skill set that you could use. Say you need someone to help you with your branding or help you with finances or something like that. Maybe you can offer your service to them for free in exchange for them doing the same for you, and get testimonials to talk about how you're helping these people, what they got from you, what experience was working with you, your service or product. And then that's going to build up your authority in that space, because now you're consistent, you know your message, you're engaging and you're aware, and people are finding you and connecting with you. And now you have authority because people actually see you doing what you say you can help them with people who are getting results from working with you. And if you start with those 3 things, you're off to the right track. And all the rest is probably going to come find you with the branding, the style, and everything else, because people will be telling you what they like and what they don't like, and take that feedback as constructive criticism, not as personal, attack. And I think you'll be okay.
That's great information. Thank you so much for that. So I would love for you to tell everybody all of the places and spaces that they can find you, connect with you, consult with you, because you do create amazing, engaging content.
I appreciate that. Now, if you want to find me, I'm mostly on Instagram, but I also have a TikTok. On Instagram, you can find me at MYKFOX. That's Myk Fox. And on TikTok, you can find me at Social Media Filmmaker. That's Social Media Filmmaker on TikTok. So I have an ebook. If you guys are trying to figure out your content routine, to try to be more consistent, try to create content in way less time, so much faster than creating content every single day, down to only 2 hours in a week. If you want like 7 to 30 posts, you can download my free ebook at www.contentroutine.com or by clicking the link in my Instagram bio. So that's free, just to show you guys some love and my appreciation for you guys checking out my stuff.
You've heard it, folks. He's giving you free content, so go ahead and check him out. All the information will be in the show notes as well. So, Myk, listen, I appreciate all of your time. I'm about to say, are we frozen? There we go. I appreciate your time and the thing. So, like, okay, so I've been struggling this whole call, right? Because I guess wherever I am, the internet is being a little bit pixelated, but it's a teachable moment, right? Because it's like, this is still content. I can still hear you clearly, and I'm still going to put it out there. So it's just like, content does not have to be perfect, but it does have to be valuable. And so this whole conversation has been valuable. So thus, anybody that's been either watching or listening to this particular segment of it, the value, if the value was there, I was telling somebody, if you give me the lottery numbers and you write it on a napkin, but I can win $1 million, am I going to be upset that it's on a napkin? No. You deliver the value however you can deliver the value, and then you can improve with time to help adjust certain things that you might want to tweak and take notes. But it's just like, if it's valuable, record it, write it down, type it out, and put it out there for people to consume, because it's not valuable if it's just stuck inside of your head.
Boom. Love it. Love it.
So listen, for everybody that has been watching, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us. If you are a unicorn, or you know anybody that is, I would love to continue this conversation. So go ahead and DM us. Make sure you go and follow Myk today, right now, and engage with him. And until next time, folks, we will see you.